Hello, I'm Tim McDonald and I haven't slept in 24 hours. Now this is a bit of a mouthful. Specifically, this is The Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings Enhanced Edition on Xbox 360. This is probably going to go quite badly. Now, I was going to show off a quest. I looked at the quest, I played the quest, I recorded the quest, I looked at the quest recording, and I realised that it didn't really show off the game particularly well. So instead, we're going to look at the arena mode, which shows off character development, dialogue, and of course, combat instead.
A Witcher! Whoa! Finally, one to tell my grandchildren about.
Who can I talk to if I want to fight?
Me, naturally. I know all there is to know about this place.
I was thinking about someone in charge.
If you have an invitation, you've no other formalities to resolve. I can explain everything else, as a wise old bard might explain to the common folk. Ask away.
Right, this is a conversation. We can ask him various questions. Who he is, what are the rules, can we expect rewards, any advice?
Any advice for someone entering the arena?
You're a Witcher, so I expect you'll find the going easier.
Yes, okay, that's quite enough from you. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Right, yes, shut up, go away. First of all, we will select our difficulty. We will play on normal because I'm tired and this is going to kick my arse anyway. Right, well, this is the arena staging area. This is where we go between fights, essentially. Now, from Dragon, or Dragon over there, the chap we were just talking to, we can buy items like bombs and potions and things like that. We can also hire help. We can hire the knight or the sorceress or Harold, the dwarf with a crossbow. All of whom cost different amounts, so Harold is the cheapest at 250, while the others get a bit more expensive. However, we have no money whatsoever, so instead I think that we're simply going to go and start a fight by going to this gate over here. Now, the foes aren't randomised each time, but the rewards are. In this case we have a silver sword, we have a leather enhancement, and we have some boots. So from this we'll probably go for the silver sword, but I suppose it depends on how this match goes. Let's find out. Now, in arena mode you start off at level 1. And yes, we're up against 3 swordsmen and an armoured person and an arbalist, and we're going to kill the arbalist first because I really don't like being plinked with arrows at long range. Yes, as I said, we're going to be using your sword exclusively in this fight. You have fast attacks, you have strong attacks. Fast attacks are quite good against the weaker, less armoured enemies like the swordsman over here, who we can just cut to pieces like that, while the strong attacks will work rather better against this armoured chap, who tends to block attacks from the front, so we will try to smack him in the side or in the back to finish him off. Like so. There we go, that was surprisingly easy, wasn't it? Well, I hope things keep going like that. Yes, we can take our rewards, and we are going to take the silver sword, I think. Now, for completing the arena, we not only get our silver sword and some money, but we've also levelled up. As soon as we can, we will go into the game's menus, and we will equip our new silver sword. We can compare it to the old one that we had before there. Oh yes, it's pretty much a direct upgrade, that's rather good. We will equip that, and we will go and have a look at the character skill trees. Now, there are 4 trees. You've got training, swordsmanship, alchemy, and magic. And we've got a talent point that we can put into one of them, except that the other 3 are locked, so we have to go into training. We could go for dagger throwing or vigour regeneration, but instead we're going to go for vitality, because that's always helpful. Right, we still don't really have much money, so let's go and do fight number 2, where we can get what looks like, I don't know, we've got a bit of armour, some gloves, or a standard sword. Don't really know what we'll go for, we'll see how the fight goes. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, Tim, you dashing rogue! Swording people in the face is all very well and good, but surely that's a bit problematic against loads of enemies. And you're quite right, you are very astute, which is why we also have all sorts of magical trickery. Such as that just there. That was the Ard sign, which normally knocks people back. In this case it actually knocked him into a stun position. There you go, you saw it just knocking him back there. If you actually manage to get lucky and stun someone, then you can one-hit kill them. So we will try that again in a moment. Now, up against these enemies, we've got 2 halberdiers who can attack from a rather longer range, and 2 shield. Oh, good lord, we've stunned him as well. So there we go. That's another one instantly taken down. But yes, the casting of spells. Good grief, that's a 3rd. Right, well, that was a bit easier than expected. Yes, up in the top left you can see two little yellow bars, which are what we cast from, essentially. That's our vigour. And yes, the odd sign usually just knocks people back rather than stunning them. I think, yes, the problem with shield bearers and enemies with shields is that you can only really attack them from one angle. If you hit them anywhere else, you'll just hit the shield. So what we will do is try the Erden sign, or in English, a trap. We'll put that down. Hopefully that will lock him in place for a moment so that we can smack him in the back. Kind of worked, I suppose. Let's try Igni, or Fireball. We'll fire it in the wrong direction and get hit in the back, because that's always good. And then we will aim at him and do it properly. Which seemed to work, I suppose. Did a bit of damage. And then we'll just sword him in the back until he dies. And in case you're wondering, that voice that I did for you, during the start of this fight, yes, that really is how I think of you talking. Right, we've got our various rewards which we can take. In this case, I think we will probably go for the armour. The sword won't be of much use for us in the next fight, which is why we're not going to bother with it. So once again, we've got a bit more cash, we've levelled up, and we've got some shiny new armour. So we will go into the menus, and we will go and get another point in the training tree. We'll probably upgrade the vitality. Vigour regeneration out of combat isn't particularly useful. We can't redirect arrows. We could get the other one which lets us parry from any direction, but we don't do much parrying, we dodge. And yes, the screen does go black whenever you cycle through the menus, which is a bit of a pain. Yeah, a bit less on poison resistance and bleed resistance, but some more to base armour, so we will equip that. Right, let's go and have a look at this shop. Since we've got a bit more money, we can sell the leather jackets, we can sell the silver sword that we no longer need. We can cycle through. There's various oils you can put on your sword to do more damage to particular enemies. There are bombs and traps. There are potions, which you can't drink in combat. You have to drink them beforehand to prepare. Runes to upgrade swords and so on and so forth. What we will do, I think, is hire the dwarf.
Geralt of Rivia, Witcher. I'm looking for someone to fight at my side in the arena.
Harold Gord, I'll not shield you with my own chest, and I'll not bump fists with you. Heroism's a foreign concept to me, as is excessive familiarity. But I'll wager you'll not find a better comrade for battle.
I can't just take your word for it. So far, I know what you won't do. Any unique qualifications?
I fucking love a good rumble. And I hit hard and fast, especially when payment's involved. It's about combining business with pleasure for me. That's what makes me a sure and true ally. I've no ideals, no higher calling, like that cockerel mad with love over there. Nor am I like that witch with her suspect intentions. The honor of a mercenary, that's my creed. So pay me, and you're guaranteed I'll not hang you out to dry.
You're a gentleman of the crossbow. I get it.
Aye, every last inch of me.
Right, well that sounds rather good, although we don't have much choice because we can't afford any of the other companions anyway, so yes, we will buy him.
Excellent! I'll see you in the arena!
Right, so now we've got a companion for the next fight, and we're pretty much broke on cash. Now, as he mentioned, all of the companions actually have their own personalities, which I don't think affects how they fight in the arena, but, it adds a little bit more flavour to arena mode, but you'll have to see that for yourself. Now here we've got a Moonblade as a reward, as well as the Cutlass. Those are both very, very good. One as silver sword, one as a regular sword, and some gloves. And we're up against, for the first time, Neckers, which are basically ghouls, sort of corpse-eating monsters. You can see them there, which means that for the first time we're using the silver sword. You use the steel swords against human opponents and the silver swords against magical ones and monsters. Now this fight is normally rather difficult. Neckers aren't difficult to kill, but they are incredibly troublesome if there are lots of them charging at you at once. With Harold there, some of them are going for him, the tougher ones in fact, the warriors. So yeah, with a few fire spells and with him drawing their attention, we can clear them out fairly easily. We'll use an Ards to knock it back a little way, and then Harold will finish it off. Easy. So at this point we can take what we want, and I think that what we are probably going to take, it's going to have to be one of the swords. We got the upgraded silver sword before, so we will get the upgraded regular sword here, the Cutlass. And once again we've leveled up. Although I have a sneaking suspicion we're actually going to forget about that. Right, yes, we can compare the cutlass and we can see that it does a hell of a lot more damage. Not so much damage reduction on block, but it has a chance of poisoning, so yes, that is definitely an upgrade worth using, I suspect. So we will equip that. Then we will go and sell our old one over to Dragon over here, very quickly. And then we will go and have a word with Harold.
So, you glad you hired a professional?
How can I not be?
Good man! Knights and sorceresses talk the talk, but when you have a few giants bearing down on you, a dwarf's the one like to stand his ground.
To be honest, they weren't that tall, or that tough.
Oh, kiss my dog's bunghole!
Oh, I love the dialogue in this game. Right, anyway, that's enough chatting. Let's go and start the next fight. Our rewards for this, we have some pants, we have some armour, we have some boots. I don't rightly know what we'll go for with this one. They're all reasonable increases, I suppose. And we're up against 2 Scoia'tael Swordsmasters and 2 Scoia'tael Archers, which basically means elves. And elves are trouble to fight against usually. The Swordsmasters are very, very difficult to hit. They don't have shields, but they're very, very good at blocking from the front and from the side. So we'll ignore them for the moment and go for the Archer, who we will beat up a bit with our sword before the Swordsmaster actually manages to catch up with us. And yes, this would be a lot easier if we had actually used our talent point. You can see that the Swordsmasters are doing a ridiculous amount of damage to us. So we will back away from them and we will use the Ard sign, or force push, to knock them out of the arena, which gives us bonus points, because the arena crowd are bloodthirsty and love it just as much as you do. Once again, this is a little bit easier because Harold is occupying a bit of attention. We will use the Quen sign, or the shield spell if you rather. Now, one of the problems that I suppose I should mention briefly is the camera. You hold down left trigger on 360 to lock onto a target, and you use the right analog stick to flick between targets. The issue with this, really, is that the game can be a little bit wonky when it's working out who you actually want to target. You will have occasions where there are enemies in front, and if it's not clear whether you target them by pushing to the left or to the right. Yeah, it can be problematic, and there are occasions in which I've actually died simply because I've targeted the wrong person. Here we've been hit with a bleed effect, which is draining our health rapidly. Fortunately, we managed to end the fight just before it kills us, which was exceptionally lucky. Now, out of these, I suspect we will probably take the armour. Even though we've upgraded it a few times, this is once again another very simple, direct upgrade, much like with our silver sword before. As we see if we go into here, the heavy leather jacket, it is basically exactly the same armour with plus 2 percentage bonuses and an extra bit of actual shielding. And we'll go into the talent trees, where we have 2 talents to spend. We will put one into parrying so that we can block from all directions. And we will also increase fortitude, which improves our vigour regeneration in combat, which is rather useful. It means that we can cast more spells and things. So we will go into the next fight. Here we will get, once again, armour upgrade and Endriga trophy. A trophy is a special equipment slot, which basically confers a standard boost. It might be a damage boost to all weapons. Yeah, thanks for that, Harold. That was lovely and family friendly. Yes, this time we're up against Endriga, which are once again more monstery things. They're sort of spider, crab, scorpion things. So once again we're using the silver sword. These guys can inflict poison, which is once again rather problematic. Much like bleed, it saps our health. On the other hand, they all seem to be going for Harold, which is making our job a bit easier, and we can basically just roll around behind them. Yes, I did actually want to target the other one there. Didn't quite work, thanks camera. And yes, hit them from behind like so. Use a few fire spells which seem to work alright against them. Easy. Not for Harold, who nearly died, but easy for us. Now from this one we're going to want to take the Endriga trophy. And that's the last fight that I'm going to show you, because from here on in the enemies get a bit spoilery. The combat, once you start unlocking the swordsmanship tree and the magic tree and so on, does get more complex, you get more moves available to you, later enemies are trickier and have little tactics you need to use of their own. It's not exactly Dark Souls in terms of difficulty, but you can't take very many hits. And there is, it's mostly about timing, positioning, and using what you have to full effect. Right, that's it from me. Go and check out the full review on IncGamers.com. I have been and remain Tim McDonald.